Hi guys, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm doing another haul video. These are books and movies that I bought between August and October of 2016 because I bought newer stuff, which meant that I bought less items, and then I was trying to actually come up with like a reasonable amount of things to put in a haul video. So, ta-da! The first book in my haul I won as part of a Goodreads giveaway, and it is Public Library and Other Stories by Allie Smith. This is a collection of short stories about books and libraries and what impact they have on our lives. So as a huge book nerd and somebody who works in a library, I am like excited to read this. Yeah. Yay. I also got The Life of Elves by Muriel Barbery for free. This was released in February of 2016. This is about two young women who both have like extraordinary abilities. One is very good with nature, and the other one is like a musical genius. And their powers, whatever gifts, lead them to this magical world. Not really a huge fan of elves, but I can give it a shot. So we'll see. And then moving on to books that I actually bought with my own money, because that's a thing. I got Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson. I super love Treasure Island and was obsessed with it as a child, and I don't know why I haven't read Kidnapped, but now I own it, so hopefully that happens. Okay, this is about a young man who gets kidnapped because his uncle wants to steal his money and stuff and cheat him out of his inheritance. That's what the back says. So he ends up getting kidnapped by pirates, and I'm just like excited for a pirate story. Yeah, pirates, and pirates. I also got selected short stories by H.G. Wells. I love H.G. Wells, like The Time Machine and War of the Worlds. So I was like, okay, let's get some short stories and see how they play out. I love sci-fi, so yes. Okay. I finally bought Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I put it off last year, hoping that somebody would give it to me for Christmas, and that so didn't happen. But I guess I forgive them because, bam. This copy is autographed, so I guess waiting was alright. Carry On is Rainbow Rowell's fan fiction for the Simon Snow's stories that she created for Fangirl. And like, that totally makes sense, right? So the book Fangirl is about Kath, who writes fan fiction for this Harry Potter type story about wizards. And in Fangirl, we have the official author, Gemma T. Leslie's version of Simon Snow, and then we have Kath's version of Simon Snow. And Carry On is Rainbow Rowell's version of the Simon Snow story, so it's like a completely different writing style and events that happen, and I love it terribly. I have already read this one, and I will post the link to that review down below. But magic school with wizards, and it's really funny and awesome. So the next book I got is Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. This is about two teenagers who are both named Will Grayson, and they meet, and it kind of changes their lives. I love the story of like the two of them trying to figure out who they are. One of the Will Graysons is gay, the other one is straight, and they just have like different lives, and I love this story, and I love Tiny Cooper, who is one of the first Will Grayson's best friend, as like this. It's just fun. This book is fun, and I love it terribly, and it's about figuring out who you are and what you want out of life, and this story is just, I loved this ride, okay? This is another book that I've already read, and I'll post the link to that review also down in the description. So another book that I bought was The Gallery by Laura Marx Fitzgerald. This is a children's mystery story that is set during the 1920s, and our main character, Martha, is a young girl, and she and her mother both work in the Sewell mansion. for this family that are like big names in the newspaper business. They have a ton of money. But the wife, Rose, is locked up in the attic because she has like mental illnesses and stuff. So for her own protection, she's kept separate from everybody else. And I just love this story, and I love the way like the mystery unfolds of like what's happening with the woman in the attic, and Martha trying to figure out why she's there. And I love all the supporting cast. It's just a lot of fun. And I have also read this book. I'm gonna put that one also in the description. This was me buying a lot of brand new books that I just really, really loved. I also got the Molly story collection from American Girl. Molly was my American Girl doll growing up, and I still have her. And I lost all the books when I was little because they got water damaged. So I feel really bad about that. So I bought all of them new. This is all 6 of the original Molly stories in one collection. So these stories follow Molly McIntyre, who is 10, turning 11, I think, during World War II in 1944. Her dad is overseas fighting in the war, and Molly and her family just are at home and trying to cope with that and what the war means and trying like growing up and figuring out who you are. And I love this story. I was totally obsessed with these as a child, like all the American Girl stories, but especially loved Molly. So now I own it forever, and I'm gonna keep this one in way better condition than the ones I read as a child obsessively. Which, let's be honest, they were like falling apart even before they got water damaged. So moving on to the movies that I bought. The first one is Samantha, an American Girl Holiday. This is another one of the American Girls. This one's actually a movie version of the books about Samantha Parkington. So these are about a young girl growing up around the turn of the century, and she's kind of in a well-off home, and she's living with her grandmother, and she has like this aunt and uncle that are awesome. But it's really about her and her best friend Nellie, who lives next door, and Nellie's a servant. And I loved Samantha as a child, so now I own the movie. Yay! So the next movie I bought is Delovely, which is a biography, sort of bio-epic story of Cole Porter, who was an American composer during the early to mid 20th century, I think, maybe it's more early, but he wrote a lot of the big like Broadway numbers, and I really love jazz and swing music and like the music of this era, so this is an awesome movie, and I loved just that whole story. When I went to the movie store, I was really looking for like Halloween movies and stuff, so I picked some like monster supernatural stuff going on here, and they were all like book related also, so yeah. The first one is Beastly, which is based off the book Beastly by Alex Flynn, and this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It follows the Beast character, who is Kyle Kingsbury, who is this teenager in this like prep school in New York, and he's incredibly popular and incredibly vain, and he rubs off this one character really badly, and it turns out she's a witch, so she turns him into this beast, and he's going to be stuck like that forever if he doesn't get somebody to say that they love him in the next year. So this is about Kyle's journey of like trying to be likable, and he falls in love with this girl Lindy and is trying to get her to fall in love with him back so that he can, become normal looking again. So totally dug Beastly. I also got the movie for the Mortal Instruments City of Bones, and this is based off of the Mortal Instruments book City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. These are about shadow hunters they are demon hunters, and I love this like journey with Clary and her discovering this world. This isn't like the best version of this. I like the television show a lot better. This isn't really, it's kind of loosely based off the books, but I saw this first, so I'm like, I still really love it because I saw it before I read the books. I think if I had read the books first and then tried to watch this movie, maybe I wouldn't like it as much, but totally adding that to my collection. So I also got Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is a Kenneth Branagh film, and it's an adaptation of Mary Shelley's book Frankenstein, which is about Dr. Victor Frankenstein, who creates this monster out of pieces of corpses, and then he reanimates it, and it comes to life, and it starts thinking for itself and acting on its own, and it's about the struggle about, like, whether or not we should. And so this is a monster story, but it's also, you know, kind of about the limits of science and whether or not we should be experimenting with, like, bringing people back from the dead, and, like, where's that boundary line of what's okay and what's not. And also the creature, like, thinking for himself and developing his own personality and his worldview. So I really, really love Frankenstein, and this movie is awesome. I am so glad I found it. So there is my haul. Let me know if you've seen or read any of these and what you thought of them. I will post the links to anything that I have reviewed in the description below, as well as the complete list of everything that I bought if you want to go check them out also. Yeah. So peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.